worst ones.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great panel. It seems that this committee hearing is all about the elephant in the room, and all we're missing is an elephant. It's good to see and hear your observations on the state of play with Google at this moment. I'm trying to analogize this, and maybe I'm way off base, to what happened to AT&T in telephone service in my lifetime. Dramatic changes brought on by political forces, market forces, and perhaps innovation, all converging at once. Senator Klobuchar and I have been working together, and she's been a leader on this issue, and we have noted something interesting. When we went after child sexual abuse and had roll call votes on this Judiciary Committee with a spectrum of political thought represented, we ended up with unanimous votes for 5 bills. Unanimous votes. Let me tell you, as politician for life, it was a shock. What we didn't realize was that wasn't enough to get the votes in this committee. Moving beyond that point meant taking on big tech, and we weren't very successful in that regard. So my question, stepping back for a moment, is whether this conversation about Google and its market dominance that was demonstrated by the committee is one that is subjected to market, political, or innovation forces that are going to lead to a change, even though they may be initially resistant. Any thoughts on that comparison? Professor Van Loo?
I'm optimistic right now, in part because the kinds of solutions that we're looking at in the America Act and beyond are going to help such a broad array of actors, not just consumers, but also small businesses. You have little tech that wants reform. You have even some of the CEOs of big tech calling for reform. Although I get that that might be, we can question where that's coming from. But so I could see for many of these reforms a coalition being built with strong political economy. I think it gets tougher when maybe all businesses are on one side and consumers are on the other.
So let me interrupt you, if I can, for a moment. I was involved in a battle, and still am, on the credit card side of the world between MasterCard, Visa, and the rest of the world, where they dominate when it comes to swipe fees, interchange fees. What we managed to do was to organize the retailers of America like never before. They all came together, big and large, big and small, and all argued they were being treated unfairly, and they were. We managed to engineer reform on the debit side, working on it on the credit side. Do you think consumers and retailers are sufficient organized force now to be an agent of change in Google?
Consumers, no. They need to be, or it'd be great to find a way to get them organized. I do think on the business side, you are seeing more organizing happening. And I think you have these models. Another model is when the internet was growing in the early years, Hollywood organized on one side and had exemptions to liability. So Section 230 it provided internet liability for platforms, but Hollywood said, no, not for copyright. We want to protect our copyright online. And so there are all these models, I like the one that you're pointing to with MasterCard, Visa, credit card companies, that we can draw on right now.
Thank you. Anyone else have any thoughts on it? Mr. Kent?
I mean, the enforcement happening in the courts, and then I think legislation starting with simple common sense rules like America Act are critically important. None of these publishers, I work for some of the biggest media companies out there in terms of content creators, entertainment companies, and they can't negotiate on their own to the terms that would make sense. Google's too powerful. They control the discovery, the monetization, every aspect of how information entertainment gets out in the digital world. And so it's going to require more than just, certainly more than the consumers. There's not real competition. And I actually think the businesses themselves can't organize in a way to drive that change right now.
Thank you.